Welcome to the Scenario Podcast, your guide to mental health and well-being. Each episode, we uncover practical tools, discuss expert insights, and explore how supplements can transform your mental health journey. Get ready to learn, grow, and thrive with us.
Welcome to the Deep Dive, the place where we cut through the information overload and deliver the targeted knowledge you need. If you are navigating a high-demand schedule, maybe you're battling brain fog from late nights, juggling complex tasks, or simply noticing that achieving mental clarity takes more effort than it used to, you're definitely not alone.
Yeah, that constant need for sharp focus, especially in a world that seems, designed for distraction. It's led to a major surge of interest in what people are calling focus vitamins. It's this idea that targeted nutrition might be the key to better mental performance.
Absolutely. So our mission today is pretty clear. We are diving deep into your stack of sources to define exactly what these focus vitamins are. Nutrients kind of engineered to support the brain's highest functions, boosting memory, concentration, and, sustained mental clarity.
Right. We've distilled the top 5 essential nutrients, and we'll break down the specific chemical mechanism for each one. But crucially, we're also dedicating significant time to the practical side of things. The caveats, the safety rules, the context you actually need to turn this information into application.
Okay, sounds good. We'll start where all brain function really begins, with the very foundation of neurological communication.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the essential B vitamins, specifically B6 and B12. We hear about them all the time, but what's the detailed mechanism behind how they keep us mentally sharp?
Well, their role is actually far more sophisticated than just being an energy boost, though they do help with that. While they certainly help the brain create crucial neurotransmitters, those signals sending messages, the really vital function lies in waste management.
Waste management, that's a new angle. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so B6, B9, and B12 are critical cofactors in regulating a substance called homocysteine. Homocysteine is a natural byproduct of metabolism, but when its levels get too high, it becomes toxic to our neurons and blood vessels. And high homocysteine is strongly associated with cognitive decline and that kind of chronic brain fog.
Okay, so by making sure you have enough B vitamins, you're essentially helping the brain clean house, preventing that toxic buildup that would otherwise, dampen attention and memory. That's a powerful connection.
Precisely. And this makes supplementation really non-negotiable for certain groups. Older adults, for instance, often struggle to absorb B12 effectively. And of course, vegetarians and vegans rarely consume enough B12 since it's almost exclusively found in animal products. If you fall into those categories, a deficiency isn't just a possibility, it's like a probability that directly impacts your focus.
That's vital context. Okay. Now, shifting gears slightly to another foundational nutrient, vitamin C. We all know it for fighting colds, but what's its specialized role in boosting focus?
Right. Vitamin C is a cognitive heavy hitter on 2 fronts. First, the general role you mentioned. It's a powerful antioxidant. It shields the fatty membranes of brain cells from damaging free radicals. Think of it as intellectual armor for your brain cells.
Intellectual armor, like that. And the second front.
It's highly involved in the synthesis of specific focus neurotransmitters. While B vitamins help create general messengers, vitamin C is essential for making norepinephrine. That's a chemical that plays a direct role in vigilance, alertness, mood stabilization, and, importantly, attention span. It helps you stay sharp when you need to focus intensely.
Ah, okay. So vitamin C isn't just making sure the communication lines are open. It's helping the brain generate the chemical responsible for that pay attention now signal. And thankfully, finding C is pretty easy. Oranges, bell peppers, strawberries, simple nutrition leading to sophisticated brain function.
Yeah, it's quite accessible. But what's fascinating is that while B and C are foundational, sometimes optimizing function requires more specialized tools. And that brings us to a really interesting specialty ingredient in our deep dive.
Magnesium L-threonate. Okay, this is the one ingredient that really stood out in the sources because it's talked about as being fundamentally different from other magnesium supplements. Why should someone listening care about this specific form?
Right. Well, if regular magnesium is kind of the key to the body's front door, magnesium L-threonate is like the skeleton key to the brain's back door. It's all about access. See, our brains are protected by the blood-brain barrier, a highly selective membrane. It keeps harmful stuff out, but it also prevents many beneficial nutrients from getting in. Standard magnesium forms, often blocked.
But the L-threonate form, its chemical structure, lets it slip right past that security system.
Exactly. Our sources really emphasize that by crossing the blood-brain barrier, it can effectively raise magnesium levels within the brain tissue itself. And magnesium is critical for synaptic plasticity. That's the ability of neurons to form new connections, and also for regulating the stress response.
So if I'm dealing with high stress or anxiety, the kind that's actively messing with my focus, this specialized form could help quiet the overstimulated parts of the brain and promote better mental clarity under pressure. It sounds tailored for focus problems driven by stress.
That's the idea. It supports clearer thinking when the environmental demands, are high.
Okay. Now, if L-threonate focuses on neurological connections, let's talk structural support. Omega-3 fatty acids, the famous fish oil components. We know they're generally healthy, but how does their structural function translate into, like, measurable daily focus?
It's fundamental. The brain is nearly 60% fat, and omega-3s, specifically DHA and EPA, are foundational components of every single brain cell membrane. Think of the cell membranes like the skin of the neuron.
Okay, and why does the quality of that skin matter for focus?
It determines fluidity. If the cell membrane is stiff or rigid, maybe due to poor fat intake, chemical signals move slowly, and receptor function is impaired, it gets sluggish. But if you have plenty of omega-3s, the membrane is more fluid, more flexible. This lets neurotransmitters bind faster, signals travel more efficiently. That faster, cleaner signaling is felt directly as better memory and quicker processing speed, the hallmarks of good focus.
That reframes it beautifully. It's not just general structural support. It's ensuring the speed limit inside your brain is set to maximum. Although we should probably acknowledge the research is a bit mixed on whether adding omega-3s alone fixes focus problems if a person isn't actually deficient.
True, but they are absolutely non-negotiable for maintenance and long-term cognitive health. They lay the groundwork.
Right.
You can't have efficient messaging if the messaging architecture itself is faulty. Sources, the ones, oily fish like salmon, and plant sources like walnuts and flax seeds.
Got it. Transitioning now to the sunshine vitamin, vitamin D. This one is highly seasonal, right? And its connection to mental clarity is often overlooked in favor of bone health. How does vitamin D directly influence our ability to concentrate?
Well, the brain is actually littered with vitamin D receptors, particularly in areas related to mood and learning, like the hippocampus. When vitamin D levels are low, those areas just aren't functioning optimally. We know deficiency is explicitly linked to mood disorders, including depression, which is perhaps the greatest barrier to consistent, sustained focus there is.
Ah, okay. So if your mood is dipping, your ability to concentrate plummets right along with it. Makes sense.
Exactly. And because our body generates vitamin D mainly from sun exposure, anyone who lives in, say, a northern climate, spends long hours indoors, or is elderly because absorption decreases with age, is likely going to be deficient, especially during winter months. So supplementation here isn't just optional, it's often necessary for maintaining mental resilience and mood stability, which directly impacts focus.
Okay, so we've established the 5 core players, but our sources also provided a list of supporting players' nutrients, targeting very specific cognitive functions. Since we want to avoid just, dumping jargon on people, let's maybe group these into categories.
Yeah, I like that approach. Let's look at them as advanced tools, maybe energy optimizers and circulation boosters. For energy, you have acetyl-L-carnitine. It helps shuttle fatty acids into the cell's powerhouses, the mitochondria, directly fueling brain power. And for communication support, there's phosphatidylserine. It's a type of fat that stabilizes the membranes where brain cells communicate, ensuring those signals are clean and robust.
Okay, so acetyl-L-carnitine is giving the brain engine better fuel, and phosphatidylserine is ensuring the spark plugs fire correctly. That makes sense. What about the circulation aspect?
That's where compounds like vinpocetine come in. It's derived from the periwinkle plant, actually. Vinpocetine is noted for its ability to increase blood flow to the brain. Better blood flow means more oxygen and glucose, the brain's primary fuel getting exactly where it needs to go, especially during periods of intense cognitive demand. These are all specialized ways to address specific potential bottlenecks in brain function.
That makes that other category much more useful.
Oh,
Okay, now shifting to maybe the simplest option. We've covered all these targeted nutrients, but what if a listener just grabs a daily multivitamin? Does that alone offer significant focus benefits?
that raises an important question of efficiency versus convenience. Yes, research, including some major studies like those from the NIH, suggests that daily multivitamins can lead to small improvements in memory and cognitive function. This seems especially true in populations that are already metabolically stressed, like, say, adults with heart problems.
The key word there seems to be small. Why are the effects usually limited with just a multi?
Well, because a multivitamin is designed to be a jack of all trades, not a specialist, right? The dosing is often generic, absorption can be inconsistent. They serve as a great baseline, ensuring you don't have any crippling deficiencies in key areas like B vitamins or basic minerals. But they are really a floor, not a ceiling. They are absolutely not a substitute for actively eating nutrient-dense foods or strategically targeting a known deficiency with a specific supplement.
Right. Which brings us to the crucial realization. These focus vitamins, they aren't some kind of cognitive replacement program. They're tools in a much larger machine.
Okay.
Let's talk about the absolute non-negotiable reality check here.
Yes, this cannot be overstated. Supplements are enhancers, they're not miracle cures. If you're struggling with chronic poor sleep, extreme stress, or a profoundly imbalanced diet, these targeted nutrients simply won't work to their full potential because the foundational system is, well, it's broken.
It's about creating the optimal environment for the supplements to actually do their job.
Exactly. You need the full wellness structure. A diet that gives you the raw materials, regular exercise to boost circulation and even neurogenesis, and good sleep habits. Good sleep is crucial because that's when the brain actually clears out metabolic waste, like that homocysteine we talked about. Supplements work best when they are optimizing an already healthy system.
Okay, so for the listener who has maybe addressed those foundational issues and is ready to proactively integrate supplements, what are the logistical and safety steps they absolutely must take?
Safety first, always. You really need to talk to a doctor first, especially if you are taking any prescription medications. Certain vitamins, particularly those that might increase blood flow, like vinpocetine or even high-dose omega-3s, can interact with blood thinners or other drugs. This isn't optional, it's essential medical communication.
And what about quality control when you're actually buying a product? The supplement aisle can be confusing.
Oh, absolutely. You must choose trusted brands. The supplement industry is notoriously unregulated in many places. Look for signs of quality assurance. Things like third-party testing certifications like NSF or USP, clear labeling that lists all ingredients and amounts, and a complete lack of wild, exaggerated, or vague claims. If the label says it will make you a genius overnight, you should probably walk away.
Good advice. We also detailed how B and D vitamins are often in multivitamins. How do we avoid accidentally double dosing if we start stacking supplements, like taking a multivitamin and a separate focus blend?
That's a very common pitfall. If you're taking a multivitamin, it likely already contains your daily requirements or close to it for B vitamins and often vitamin D. If you then add a high-dose B complex or a separate vitamin D supplement on top of that, you can quickly hit levels that are too high, which can cause negative side effects. You really have to read the supplement facts panel like it's a legal contract. Know exactly how much of each ingredient you are getting across all your supplements.
Okay, pay attention to the labels. And finally, timing. If the goal is focus and alertness, when should we generally take these? Does it matter?
It often does. Most focus supplements, particularly the B vitamins or any that are geared toward energy optimization like acetyl-L-carnitine, are best taken in the morning or maybe early afternoon. They are intended to boost alertness, right? So taking them late in the day could easily disrupt your natural circadian rhythm and interfere with sleep. And that would completely defeat the goal of enhanced focus the next day.
Right, makes perfect sense. Okay, before we wrap up, we briefly touched on some of the popular plant-based options that often get grouped with focus vitamins like ginkgo or ashwagandha. Where do they fit in?
Yeah, they absolutely belong in the conversation. Ginkgo biloba, for example, is studied for its circulation-boosting effects, similar in a way to vinpocetine. Bacopa monnieri is traditionally used in Ayurvedic medicine for memory enhancement. And ashwagandha is an adaptogen, meaning it helps the body manage stress, and by managing stress, it indirectly helps focus. Their effectiveness, however, can vary widely depending on the quality of the source material and the preparation. If you explore these, look for supplements that specify they are standardized extracts and use clinical dosing, meaning the amount in the pill is similar to what was actually used and shown to be effective in scientific studies. So, as we conclude this deep dive, I think the lesson is pretty clear. Maintaining sharp focus and clarity is an active, proactive process. It's not about just waiting for the inevitable brain fog to settle in and then reacting. By understanding the targeted nutritional needs of your brain based on your specific age, diet, lifestyle, and challenges, you can select the right mix of nutrients to support, sustain, and maybe even enhance your cognitive energy.
Yeah, we have expertly broken down the 5 major players. The homocysteine regulators, that's the B vitamins, the norepinephrine synthesizer, vitamin C, the barrier-breaking stress mitigator, magnesium L-threonate, the structural speed enhancer, omega-3s, and the mood-stabilizing regulator, vitamin D. And we definitely landed on the non-negotiable rule. Optimization depends fundamentally on lifestyle. Supplements are support, not the whole structure. So our deep dive really underscored the critical importance of something like magnesium L-threonate because it successfully crosses the blood-brain barrier, what seems like an insurmountable obstacle for other forms of magnesium. So here's a provocative closing thought for you. Consider what other essential elements in your life, whether they are physical routines, maybe crucial conversations you need to have, or creative breakthroughs you're aiming for, might currently be blocked from reaching their destination because of some kind of barrier you haven't identified yet. And what small intentional adjustment could serve as your own personal key to finally getting through.
Thanks for tuning in to the Scenario Podcast. Don't forget to visit scenario.com for more expert tips, articles, and supplements designed to support your mental health. If you enjoyed this episode, remember to subscribe and share it with a friend. Until next time, take care of yourself.